public support for the Palestinian cause. Now he runs his own YouTube channel where he provides cutting-edge analysis and incisive commentary on the latest Arsenal games. We're also joined in the studio by Anlayst Bechkoum. Anlayst is a European football analyst and an avid grassroots player. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Anlayst, Morocco find themselves in the quarter-final of this World Cup. How have they managed to get to this stage?
Well, it's a massive achievement for them to have got to this stage so far, and I think really it's down to how they've set up tactically in this World Cup, and that's hats off to the coach, Walid Regragui. You know, it's crazy to think he's only been with this crop of players since August, and he's actually, you know, achieved such a huge amount in such a short space of time. If we look in terms of their tactics, they tend to set up quite defensively. So they set up as a low block, very difficult to break down, and you know, they invite the pressure on from other teams. And it's worked so far with quality across the park, in the likes of Achraf Hakimi in defence and Saiss as well. You know, they've only conceded 1 goal in the entire campaign so far, so it's very impressive. And it's coupled with players like Soufiane Amrabat in midfield. You know, for me, he's been the standout player of the World Cup so far. He's a centre-back's dream to have in front of your back four. You know, he cleans up the play. His ball distribution is very impressive as well. And then you have the likes of Ziyech and Boufal as well on the offensive. They've been very impressive so far.
And Mo, so what do you make of Morocco's standout players in the World Cup so far?
Well, I can't put it better than Anas has. He's called out some of the real standout performers. But I think when you look at how Morocco have done, and they've only conceded 1 goal in 4 games, that's one incredible record when you consider they've played Croatia, Belgium, Spain, some real good teams. So I think Amrabat, as Anas said, has been absolutely phenomenal. Romain Saiss has been great. And we can't forget about Bono and his heroics in the penalty shootout. But Hakimi, for me, is one that's definitely dragged his country along, definitely a player for team of the tournament at the end of the World Cup.
And as Morocco faces Portugal in the quarter-final, they've scored 6 goals against Switzerland in their last game. So how do you assess Morocco's chance of getting past Portugal and into the semi-finals?
It's a tough ask. It's definitely a tough ask. But I think Portugal throughout this World Cup, you know, they've been a bit hit and miss, and they haven't been extremely convincing. And I think, you know, the most convincing display that they have had was against Switzerland when they dropped their talisman in Cristiano Ronaldo. Right. And, you know, and they beat the Swiss 6-1. And I think Morocco can take a lot of lessons from this game. You know, Switzerland tried to go toe-to-toe with Portugal, and ultimately they were punished for doing so. And that's not Morocco's style of play. You know, if they continue with the same game plan, if they continue to set up defensively, there's no reason why they can't, you know, take a result against Portugal. I think my only concern when it comes to Morocco is that, you know, their style of play is very intense, and we've already seen a few injuries to some key players in the lead up to this match. If they can keep their squad fit, if they can, you know, stay on top of injuries, there's no reason why they can't go deeper into the tournament.
Mo, you've heard what Anas had to say about Morocco's chances against Portugal. But if they get through, surely a semi-final victory against England or France would be just a step too far.
Well, look, you can never write anything off in this World Cup, but I have to admit, the Spain game for Morocco was basically a stylistic perfect matchup, because Spain, for all of their possession and skill and technique, are quite toothless, and that played into the hands of Morocco's tactical setup. Portugal are a next step up in terms of having a bit more attacking threat, and especially with their change of bringing in Ramos to replace Ronaldo, which saw them score 6 goals and Ramos bagging a hat-trick. But France or England is one step even above that in terms of having that clinical edge. Mbappe, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Antoine Griezmann, these are players that can really hurt Morocco. But you can't rule anything out, and it's home territory for Morocco, effectively. So that fan base, that support will hopefully guide them. And in terms of injuries, Morocco will be going with the injections and inshallah mantra. They will be doing everything that they can to get on that pitch and give everything that they've got.
Anas, what's been your stand-up moment in the World Cup and the biggest shock so far?
There's been, you know, our fair share of cup sets so far in this World Cup. For me, there are 2 results that really stand out. The first being Saudi Arabia against Argentina. You know, we've got arguably the greatest player of all time in Lionel Messi losing to Saudi Arabia, which was, you know, it was an amazing defeat. And then the second result for me was the Morocco against Belgium game. You know, Belgium came into this tournament as, you know, they were ranked second in FIFA's official rankings. Yeah. And for Morocco to beat them so confidently and in the manner that they beat them was very impressive for me.
Mo, how was the first ever World Cup in a hosted by a Muslim country been different to